Hello, hello, hello. It's coffee time again, in which we read the news. Saves you the trouble of doing it. That is the sound of the dog crying. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. This isn't a professional YouTube outfit where everything's done in perfect silence and there's no outside noise. This is amateur hour. Well, amateur half hour, or how long this goes on for. I've just gone on to the Daily Mail website. And the top of we've got a new breaking news story. It's Prince Has. It's Harry. He's done it again. He's Harry in diplomatic row. Of course, in his book Spare, he mentions killing 25 Taliban in Afghanistan during his time fighting. Again, those are all pro. Harry said, "Yeah, this is great. He's just showing the realities of war." Whilst most of us who are sensible, and especially those who've actually seen service, goes, you don't mention how many. You say, "I've seen action, I've done bad things," and you know there are ways of talking about your time in action. And of course, this has caused the Iranians to pipe up, because there was a fellow executed in Iran. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday morning. The Iran foreign minister, via the official Twitter account, said the British regime, whose royal family member sees the killing of 25 innocent people as a removal of chess pieces and has no regrets over the issue, and those who turn a blind eye to his war crime are in no position to preach to others on human rights. It's like, okay. Yeah. Because Aliziri Akbari, he was dual Iranian British nationality. This chap here was executed yesterday, and we've obviously said that's bad. And I said, well, shut your mouth, because Harry, not to the level of him, but been involved in the media. When you submit articles, they go through various checks. People read them, and how they thought that was acceptable, I do not know. Especially when the topic of Meghan Markle is a little bit sensitive. Maybe they just rubber stamped it. But anyway, the 62-year-old, they reckon he's going to be cancelled. He's been cancelled. ITV says it has no further commitments to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, so that's a shame. So there's no more further editions. Though one director of the series says he hasn't been sacked. And meanwhile, the Amazon Prime are saying that it's not moving forward with anything with him. Here he is. Here he is with his hands in his pockets. So has Clarkson been axed? Does anybody care? It could be that his contracts have run out, especially with Amazon Prime. Oh my God! More breaking news. Be still. People of a certain age, for Ken Bruce is leaving BBC Radio 2. I don't know. Who? Do people still listen to the radio when you have the internet to entertain you? Apparently he's moving to Greatest Hits Radio. And he's going to be taking his pop quiz with him, apparently, so that's going to be good. I know he's done pop quiz, so I think I've heard that. I've heard that in the car once when I was switching channels. But people keep asking, what about Steve Wright? What about Steve Wright? What's happened to him? Well, the problem with Steve Wright is they haven't found a studio big enough to accommodate him yet. Yeah, it's very tricky. Very tricky. What? He's a big lad. He's a big lad. Oh dear. This is important news. Davos. Not the guy who invented the Daleks. There's a summit on in the Swiss resort town of Davos. Yeah. So here we go. There you go, there's the flags out at the Davos Congress Centre. For many, many businessmen and world leaders and tycoons are ahead in there. Here it is. Here they are. The World Economic Forum, the WEF. No one mentioned the Great Reset. You make jokes like that and people think you believe in it. So yeah, there's this big thing, big thing. God, I'm feeling articulate today. There's a big Davos thing, summit. That's it, a big summit at Davos. But what's interesting, right, is whilst the global elite that are there, trying to tackle the world's problems, right, all the sex workers are gathering there too. Yeah. Escorts are booking into the same hotels as high-powered bosses who started their summit yesterday. One sex worker named Leanna says she dresses in business attire so she doesn't stand out. Yeah, this is in Built magazine. She told them she regularly sees an American who visits Switzerland and who's among the 2,700 conference attendees. Blimey, she charges €700 an hour and €2,300 for the whole night, plus travel expenses. Blimey. Meanwhile, Salome Bautas, a sex worker and writer, posts on Twitter date in Switzerland during the WWF, World Wrestling Federation, World Wildlife Fund, Forum. It's all gone to pot. Hold it together, Darren. Hold it together, you can do it. Means looking at gun muzzles for security guards in the hotel corridor at 2 a.m, then sharing the giveaway chocolates from the restaurant with them and gossiping about the rich. And here she is. It's something for the dads. I don't know how much she charges, but if you're in Davos on business, she's up for grabs. At least we know what they're really doing there. My goodness. Ban this filth. What else we got? This is a special investigation by the Mail. The Daily Mail, right, has done an investigation, right, in the toilets at last weekend's Premier League derbies. Yeah, so they've been hanging around the toilets there, and they found that 80% of toilets tested positive for traces of cocaine. So am I reading this? Does this mean the toilets are high on coke? I don't understand. But yeah, Mail online reporter Vivek Chowdhury, here he is. He spent a lot of time hanging around the toilets at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And yeah. Okay. What were you really doing, Vivek, hanging around those toilets? What were you really... And this is the test. He's obviously wiping the toilet seats with specially impregnated wipes that can detect cocaine use. But what were you really doing, Vivek? What were you really doing? That's a job you don't want to do, is it? Good news, everybody. Train drivers are going to strike. Hooray! On February the 1st and 3rd. Because their average salary of £60,000 a year just isn't enough, and they want another 5k. Good for them. Good for them. And yeah, we've got the teachers going on strike as well. So it looks like we're going back to online lessons again. Yay! Ping. Meanwhile, Prince Willie, or as we call him, the Good Prince, he's been out and about. He's been touring the Together as One headquarters in Slough ahead of its 25th anniversary. And see, this is how you do it, Harry. Look, this is how you do it. Look at him. He's entertaining the kids. Look at that. You know, he's got his penny on and everything. That's how you do it. That's how you don't hear him complaining. Don't hear him whinging. I'll tell you, he's pretty good with those noodles. See? getting down with the kids. Don't see Haz doing that. Don't see Haz doing that. He can't compete. He just cannot compete. Willie's been busy. So yeah, it's good. See, this is what the Royals should be doing. They should be going around, you know, going and meeting people and promoting these organisations, and that's what Harry should be doing, instead of, I don't know, slumming it in Los Angeles. There we go. Yeah, and so it wasn't very good for old Haz, because Jimmy Kimmel did a little skit about Harry putting cream on his winky, and it's the most amazing thing. If you've read that part of his book, in it he got frostbite on his ginger Hazza, in his little Hazza, and he used Elizabeth Arden cream. And I no word of a lie. I've read it. I've read the excerpt, and he mentions smelling the cream and imagining his mother was there in spirit watching him applying it to his member. And so Kimmel mocks him and says, "Have you heard of Sigmund Freud, Harry?" No. Again, there's no filter there. There's no self-awareness. It's quite bizarre. Meanwhile, good news, everybody. Kevin Spacey got a Lifetime Achievement Award at a Turin ceremony. It was this was at the Italian National Cinema Museum. He got the Stella della Mole, which is a lifetime award. Here he is. There he is. Good to see him getting out. And he thanked them for having the balls to invite him there. And he said, #me too. Got an award. Me too. See? Too soon. #too soon. Meanwhile, the whingers are at it again. More whingers. BBC Wildlife magazine. They were promoting Natural History Museum's Wildlife Photographer of the Year contest, and people on Instagram were offended. They were triggered. And they started crying. They were upset because of this image. Now, I'm going to give you a trigger warning. This shows nature in all its bloody capacity. All right, and I'm warning you. All right, it's not a nice image, but it's what nature is. And seeing as it's in BBC Nature magazine, it just goes to show you how stupid people are. But this is the picture they complained about. It is a leopard with a baboon mother. Obviously she's dead, with her baby hanging onto it. Now it's quite a stark image. It's a hard image to tolerate, but again, for somebody who grew up with David Attenborough and Life on Earth, but yeah, you didn't give us a trigger warning. Dear. So, and I gave you a trigger warning. Whoops, I gave you a trigger warning. Meanwhile, Mike Tyndall, he's married to Zara Phillips. That's Princess Anne's daughter. Again, he's showing Harry up. He's showing you how to do it. Look. He's wearing a hat because he's still in Australia. Yeah, he put his wife's hat on. There you go. Again, you can see Haz. Here he is with Zara. They're still doing the rounds in Australia, and they're recently on the Gold Coast. See, he's having a great time, just hamming it up. He's saying, Haz, you can't do this. You can't send yourself up. So there you go. This is how they're getting back and see. Harry will be seeing this, and he'll be seeing it as a personal slight. He will. Meanwhile, we've got court news. This is stalking. Danielle Moore, 33. She was arrested outside the BBC headquarters at Broadcasting House in London. Here, I think I've been there. I think I might have had an interview there once. Or was it a dream? But yeah, she's been charged with stalking BBC and Classic FM presenter Kathy Gnanasegaram. These names, I have a real try. I can't get my mouth around them. And apparently she's been visiting the BBC HQ various times and has been abusive to her on the phone. So there you go. And this is the presenter that she's after. So there you go. Stalking at BBC. They get a lot of that because there's a lot of nutters out there. There are. It's really easy to get a stalker. Trust me. It's really easy. Meanwhile, the HMC, and you never want to get letters from the HMRC, has admitted that around £250 million of COVID help for the self-employed was siphoned away by organised crime. 10% of it, of all Eat Out to Help Out cash, was lost to fraud and error. There we go. They were just pissing money up the wall, just pissing it up there. And here's a chart for you, and it's just all that money just wasted. Just imagine, could have built hospitals and schools and made people's lives easier, but no, it was just a waste of time and money. Meanwhile, we're at where are we? At the Hamad Shahi Stadium in Kandahar. And what we've got here, this is the Taliban. They've got some new entertainment. Nine men were flogged publicly. A public event at a packed football stadium. See, you've got the crowds there. Forget football. See, they're all saying, "Is this the flogging? I got tickets for the flogging." Doesn't it make you feel great in the 21st century that we're still doing this? Yeah. Under Sharia law, the men arrested on unspecified charges were lashed between 35 and 39 times in front of officials, religious clerics, elders and locals. Doesn't it make you feel proud? This is the 21st century. But the Taliban, see, I'm smushing 2 Taliban stories for the price of 1. 2 for 1. Are using Twitter to buy official blue ticks. Look, they got the official blue tick because they signed up. I've got one too, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it because 1, Elon put the price up, naughty Elon, and 2, I don't really feel the benefit of it. I thought I'd feel better for it. I thought it'd be more functionality, more features. But yeah, there's 2 Taliban officials who've got blue ticks. I'm not even going to attempt to say their names. So yeah, there you go. Why not? Blue ticks for all, if you can afford it. Meanwhile, George Clooney's mansion is on the verge of being underwater. Here it is, and look, we can move the magic slider. Whoop, 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 whoop. I could do that all day. At least you don't have to worry about cutting the grass when it's like that. So there's always a benefit. There's always an upside. You've got to look for the silver lining. Meanwhile, Channel 4 have announced a new show. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of Naked Attraction. Because I used to sit there and I go, I can't believe they make... Every time I go, I can't believe they make this programme. You know. But yeah, Channel 4, I've always said that they were going to go one step further. My pitch is a show called Chlamydia Island, where you put a load of randy 20-somethings on an island, completely naked, and you just feed the men full of Viagra, and the last one not to get a sexually transmitted disease is the winner. coming to ITV4 very soon. Chlamydia Island. That's my pitch. But Channel 4 have not gone that way. What they're doing is a new dating show where they're going to ask strangers to have online sex, and these strangers are going to have Bluetooth sex toys, and it's called Sex First, and you'll be at the oh god, yeah. So you'll be using online avatars to pleasure each other, and it will be reacting in the real world using these Bluetooth gizmos that will be attached to their bodies. And then, if it's a good time, the pair can decide to meet in real life. They're saying it's the most outrageous dating show yet. No, Chlamydia Island. Chlamydia Island. I've said it here now, so if anyone steals that idea. Good news, everybody. There's a new COVID variant. Did you know that? It's actually a spin-off from Omicron. Omicron's got a little baby, and it's called Orthrus. I hope you're keeping up. Orthrus. But it's called CH.1.1. So, you know, which one's best? Is it Orthrus or Kraken? There's only one way to find out. Fight! But apparently, everyone's got Orthrus. And if they ain't got and I feel quite awful with Orthrus. I feel awful. And if they ain't got Orthrus, they got the Kraken. I think they're running out of names. Can't they just call it COVID-2, COVID-3, COVID-4? Oh, this is terrible. We're gonna go to Ukraine, and this is the story of Mikhailo Koronevsky with his daughters, and they're celebrating her birthday. Look at that! Isn't that nice? Right, and here's another picture of them together with the cake. And this was shortly before, shortly before rocket attack, and it left the apartment looking like this. And unfortunately, the father, he was killed in the attack. But yeah, it just shows you what they're having to put up with there. Yeah, the 39-year-old Ukrainian father was celebrating his birthday with a birthday pie with his daughters when he was killed. And yeah, you can see. And that's the external picture. I think that's from the same building. Just taking the middle out of it. Next month it'll be a year this has been going on. What else have we got? Oh, Love Island's back. Anyone's been watching that? It's not as good as Chlamydia Island. Though they've been a bit cruel over one of the contestants. Let's scroll down. Where is it? There's a lot of tweets. Can't find the tweet now. Talk amongst yourselves. It'll be really funny when I get to it. God, it's such a big story. Here it is. Yeah. They compared one of the contestants to that famous statue of Ronaldo, and you got to admit, there's quite a likeness. Some people were saying that the tweets about Love Island were better than the actual show itself. So don't watch it. You can feel your IQ going down as it's on. And if you really want a rapid decline, watch the Australian version where they just sit there groaning and grunting at each other. Huh? Meanwhile, did you know that space is racist? It's true. Natalie Gosnell, who's an assistant professor at Colorado College, She's an astrophysicist. Says the field of science is steeped with white supremacy and sexism because of hypermasculine and violent language used to describe stars. Here she is. Just because she's wearing glasses don't mean she's smart. She ain't. She's stupid. I can't even. I can feel my brain dipping as I read it, because you can't say black holes anymore. Dark matter, black holes, it's all racist. So there you go. Space is racist. Meanwhile, this is the story of Muka Ueta. Here she is. And she was a double murderer. She was convicted of double murder and robbery in 2009. And she was on death row. She was going to be hung, because that's how they get rid of them over there. They hang them. But she got one over on them. Do you know how she got one over them? She died choking on her food at Hiroshima prison. Yeah. Yeah, she choked on her food and died. But it wasn't the first time. 4 days earlier, she was taken to hospital for choking on her food. So obviously something she intended to do. It was a plan. This wasn't an accident. She actually did it deliberately. That's one way of getting out of things, isn't it? So I'm just waiting. The Daily Mail website's decided to refresh itself, and then it gets stuck, because that's what it does. Now I've got to find where I was on the page. Meanwhile, Daily Mail website's doing some very strange things at the moment. Bear with me. All the stories have moved. This is good. Who's a fan of J.K. Rowling? Rowling, ride. There is a rare copy of Harry Potter. Here we go. That's the book. And this copy is going under the hammer, right? Oh yeah. And there are only 500 first edition copies of this book. It's going under the hammer at Forum Auctions in London, right? An ex-librarian found it. And what makes it different, as it's credited to her name, Joanne Rowling, rather than J.K. So if you get one of those, it could be worth £70,000. But who knows how far it'll go. Might go higher than that. Yeah, meanwhile, Margot Robbie was promoting her film Babylon, and one of her old school friends was in the crowd and accidentally revealed her nickname, her school nickname, which is Maggot. Which amused me. It amused me. Just a little bit. Meanwhile, let's go to Derby Pub in South Shields. Just got to shut the door. We're going to the Derby Pub in South Shields, where it was all kicking off, right? It was all cooking off. This fella was playing snooker and he threw a ball. And then it all got a bit heavy, and then whammo, right in the mush. And yeah, it's quite a nice pub, isn't it? But yeah, the pub has a reputation for violence. In May 2016, father of 2, Ronnie Howard, was murdered there during a savage attack. So yeah, might not want to go to that one. Stay at home, folks. Stay at home. Meanwhile, this is in a zebra crossing in Burlesdon in Hampshire. As you can see, the lollipop lady's crossing, and whoa, they're not stopping. See, it's what we have to deal with all the time. This is right near a school. Look, I'm sure they've got the number plate of that driver. And that comes after a month the pedestrian was struck by 2 cars at the same spot during a double hit and run. Meanwhile, let's go to a slap fighting contest in Las Vegas. This is the RFX Slap Fighting Championships. Oh, sorry, it's in Romania. Why has it got Las Vegas on it? Las Vegas isn't Romania. Oh, let's look. Whammo! And then look at the state of his face afterwards. Signs of his head. It's just it's all swollen. Can we get a close up of that? I mean, I must admit that's pretty impressive. Look at that. What a wallop. And the dog is gone. The dog is gone. Removed. No longer my problem. Never work with children and animals, remember that. Children and animals. I'll save that one for tomorrow. I had a good one. Here we go. Finish on Animal Story if we can, but I've got a good one for tomorrow, which I didn't have a chance to do today because there were so many good stories, weren't there? But we can do it tomorrow. This is another fellow, right, who, well, he's we did this before with a dog. Do you remember the guy in the dog suit? Well, now we've got a fella who's gone and bought a wolf suit. There we go. Yeah, this is another creation from the Zeppet workshop in Japan. And the man who's not been named says, because of my love of animals since childhood, I dreamed of being one. And yeah, he's got his own very expensive wolf suit. It takes all sorts, doesn't it? And there we go. That's today's news. I think I've done enough damage. I think I certainly have. Let's see if there's anyone in the chat. Sorry, it was a bit disjointed, wasn't it? 8 people in. Thank you. One like. Scott is in. He says morning. Andrew says hi. He's definitely in. G-Man's in. Andrew says I want to go and see Babylon. Looks rather good. And he's had snow in Cornwall. There you go. Don't go out, everyone. They reckon. Oh, the sunlight's on me. They reckon that the snow is coming back again. So I'm not looking forward to it. So yeah, stay indoors if you can. Thank you for watching. That was coffee time. The dog is crying because Verity's back early because it's not well at school. And I'll be seeing you tonight because it's Tuesday. Remember, killing the channel, one video at a time. You gotta drink it up.